Hello, Ice and Fire Nerds. This is Chris, and I'm back today with Val from Because Geek, and we're continuing our Game of Thrones Season 6 predictions video series. And today we're talking about a character I'm really excited about. We hadn't seen him in a long time. He's been up north somewhere, and that is Hodor.
What?
We're doing Hodor, right?
We're doing Bran, Chris. Bran. You know? A little kid.
No, I'm sorry, Bran.
Hey guys, back here. As you can see, I'm not wearing my big orange headphones because it seemed to be a bit too much for some people.
She got self-conscious about it, and she wanted to show off her toque.
No, I didn't. Oh.
Her toboggan.
Yeah. So last time we saw Bran, he had just found the three-eyed raven. He's in the cave, he's safe, away from the whites, and Jojen died. Poor guy. But he's with Meera and he's with Leaf, and he's now training to become super powerful Greenseer.
Just like Luke Skywalker.
Exactly like Luke Skywalker. Why does everyone want to copy Star Wars?
They always use Star Wars references. And that's another thing. I don't think this season, speaking of the first prediction, that we'll see a lot of training. I think we'll definitely see flashbacks. That's been confirmed. I think the producers have already said he's missing in season 5, basically because you got to just assume that he's off training. Kind of like in Star Wars when we saw Luke, just spend a weekend at Yoda's. And then we never really saw any real training except for a couple little scenes of that. Yeah, season 4, that's been a long time.
Yeah, kid's grown. Like, he's tall and he has short hair.
Yeah, apparently they give haircuts at werewood.net. They have a barbershop.
So obviously, Bran is going to be huge this season. A lot of the teasers that we've gotten have been related to Bran. The first one was pretty obvious. We got a lot of clips from the past that seemed to be Bran's visions because the whole video had this dreamy effect type of thing. The vignette. Yeah. So Bran's visions are gonna help us out a lot this season.
Bran's going to be a huge in-game player, I think, in our story, especially this season. And a cool thing about it is he's kind of going to be our eyes as far as the viewers go. He's going to know things that the other characters don't know. So it's kind of going to be that effect like when you're watching a horror movie and you say, no, motherfucker, don't turn around that corner. Because we're going to kind of know things before the other characters do. That's right. It's time to finally give up some damn secrets, George, or Dan, and Dave.
So I think a lot that we've seen in past seasons and also in the teasers show us that they've been setting up this connection between Bran and Jon. There's something that's definitely going to happen between them. I don't know if they meet. I don't know if they communicate. Something will happen between those two characters. And I think one of the more probable things is that Bran will reveal Jon's parentage.
Yeah, I think that will be revealed, except I think Jon won't know that. Jon will probably find out Bran's actually alive at some point. And how do we know that? Well, on the way up north to see Bloodraven beyond the wall, they ran into Sam and Gilly on the way back. Now, Sam will be in Old Town this year, but Jon will probably hear somehow, either through a vision or dream from Bran himself or something, that he is alive.
I think some of the foreshadowing that we got from past seasons is that Bran and Jon always almost meet, but then don't. You guys remember that time when Bran was in the tower and Jon was with the wildlings outside and Bran had to use Summer to save Jon from the wildlings? Then the time when they went to... what's that guy's name?
Craster's Keep. Yes, I wanted to jump out through the fucking screen because he was right there.
I know, and it actually made me tear up when he was like, no, we gotta go. I'm like, no, Jon. Yeah.
At least say something. I mean, just say I gotta go, but I'm alive. Damn.
No, yeah, he just couldn't. I mean, Jojen was totally right. He was gonna take him back to Castle Black. But yeah, so those things, and then the teaser. I mean, like that teaser. Like, Jon appears at the beginning. Jon! And right after Jon appears at the end, Bran appears right after. Kind of like he's just warging into something, and it was right after we see Jon dying. So there's this big connection that they're setting us up for that I can't wait to see it.
And I had previously mentioned in my magic or prophecy video, one of the two, that he's with Bloodraven, the three-eyed crow. So originally as Brendan Rivers, he was described as albino with red eyes before he lost one to his brother Bittersteel. Bran is now with him as his kind of Jedi master. But now Jon runs around with a direwolf named Ghost who happens to be albino with red eyes.
Yeah, another cool connection. And just to add to what Chris was saying about Sam, one idea that I had is that Sam, if he's in Old Town and he's trying to become a maester, he's probably going to get especially if he's talking to Marwyn, he's going to be in contact with the glass candles. You can communicate with the glass candles. Maybe that's something that Sam can use to communicate with Bran.
So if Marwyn the Mage is in the show, which is the character in the books only so far, who is a archmaester who loves magic, where most maesters don't like it at all, or don't understand it, then maybe Sam perhaps uses that glass candle to communicate with Jon over a long distance while he's still in Old Town, to let him know that Bran is in fact alive.
There's also the foreshadowing that Sam has always wanted to become a wizard. If he does get to study magic in Old Town, that could be what that meant.
Yeah, because one thing I've never understood about at least the show is they already know a lot about White Walkers as far as how to defeat them, and yet he's sending Sam to become the next Maester for the Night's Watch. Yeah, I understand that. But more specifically, to learn about the White Walkers. Well, they already know how to beat him, right? They know that Dragonglass, Obsidian works, and now they know that Valyrian Steel works. So if they're just trying to fight a war, what else is there to know?
Yeah. So we've heard from Jeremy Podeswa, I believe, that the season premiere will start off with a bang. I mean, it could definitely be one of Bran's visions. But the thing is, I think the only vision from Bran that would be a bang would be the Tower of Joy. And I don't think we would see the Tower of Joy before we see young Ned sparring with another kid in Winterfell. I think it will be a chronological set of visions.
Yeah, very similar to the book. Each flashback or each vision went further and further back in the time, showing kind of the history of Winterfell, and it was kind of setting up what he was going to be able to do.
Oh, right. I guess it could also be chronological backwards.
Yeah, reverse time.
Either way, we know a lot of information from 2 of Bran's visions already. We don't know if there will be more than 2 visions. I hope we do see a bit more. I'm kind of excited for these visions. Yeah. From the behind the scenes video that HBO just released, we got a clear view of the scene where young Ned is sparring with another kid. And I can explain to you why I believe that the taller kid is Ned and the shorter kid is Benjen. So one of the reasons is that Sebastian Croft was cast as young Ned. That is confirmed. And I looked up pictures of Sebastian Croft, and he's not a little kid anymore. There are a lot of pictures of him as a little kid, but I have seen pictures where he's a bit taller, so he's definitely a lot taller than that other little kid in that scene from the behind the scenes video. His hair is also lighter, just like the taller kid, and just like Ned's. Benjen's hair is darker than Ned's, and that little kid's hair is darker than the taller kid. Another reason is Benjen is the only younger brother that Ned had. His other brother was Brandon, and he was older. Another reason is that Benjen and Ned are the only Starks that we've seen before, and so it would make sense for them to show us characters that we're already familiar with so that we don't get too confused as to like, oh, who is this, who is that? We're going to know right away, oh, that's Benjen. Or you remember Benjen from season 1, right? Jon! I have thought that it could also be a tomboy version of Lyanna, but I really doubt that her parents would let her wear that stuff when she was that little.
Very similar to Arya, she was a tomboy, but yeah, I think you're right, it probably is Benjen. I mean, being the only brother kind of eliminates any other possibilities, unless it is a tomboy Lyanna.
Yeah, and it's also not Robert, as some of you guys think, because Ned met Robert when he was a teenager, squiring for Jon Arryn at the Vale. So he was too young in that scene for it to be Robert.
Right, and this kind of mirrors the vision in the book when it is actually Benjen and Lyanna, but they're changing it in the show. Probably not wanting to show Lyanna.
I don't know, we may actually see Lyanna in that scene as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to release everything, so maybe she's standing off to the side in that particular picture that they released or whatever, but she could very well be in the vision.
Also, in these videos, you can also see that there's another older guy standing right next to the kids. I'm thinking this could be either Brandon or a young Sir Roderick. The other vision, the Tower of Joy, yeah.
And the Tower of Joy is the mother of all visions this year, or for the whole series for that matter. And if you've been living under a rock somewhere for the last 5 seasons, or 20 years if you read the books, Tower of Joy is where Lyanna was found in a bed of blood by Ned Stark during Robert's Rebellion, where supposedly she ran off or was abducted, one or the other, with Rhaegar Targaryen. The R+L J reveal. Will they do that? I think they will, but I don't think Jon will know it immediately.
Another thing that we know about the visions and how they will happen is that Bran and the Bloodraven will be in the vision as it's happening. They will physically be part of the vision.
Right, and I actually dig the way they're going to do this, because you got to think about it visually on TV. I mean, reading a book, you can picture that in your mind or whatever whenever he has a vision. You're not worried about what Bran's actually doing. You're focusing on the vision itself. But visually for TV, him and Bloodraven getting to walk around and be involved in the scene so he can talk to him and explain what the hell's going on, that's going to be really cool, because otherwise you just see Bran sitting in a tree throne all year, and that wouldn't be very visually appealing.
Exactly. But will he be stuck in a tree? I mean, we did get one of the most confusing pictures ever, and I mean, like, people were just excited to see Bran again. I was just like, why the hell is he on a horse? Like, what?
Right, where'd they get the damn horse from? And why is he leaving in the first place if this is not a vision? So yes, this could be a vision, where perhaps maybe in these dreams and visions, he has a little freedom and he can ride around and do things he wanted to do in real life, like become a knight, ride horses, all that good stuff. But perhaps he tries to leave the cave at some point, and the only reason I could think he would do that is if he's trying to get in touch with, say, Jon, to tell him some things he needs to know about the future, because they don't know what's going to happen, and he has to leave the cave physically to go meet him with Hodor and Meera, possibly even Leaf. But where did he get the damn horse from?
And yeah, one of the reasons why I don't believe this is a vision is because when you look closely at the picture, you can see that he's kind of leaning forward on the horse as if he can't stand up straight, because you need functioning legs to stand up straight. So that's why I think he's still a cripple in this picture.
You can't say that. The PC police will jump your ass for saying the word cripple.
But that's the word they use.
Not in this politically correct society. Somebody in the comments is going to jump your ass for using the word cripple when it's a perfectly normal word with no negative connotations.
They say they're going to pre-board those passengers in need of special assistance. Cripples!
And I know I keep bringing up this behind the scenes video, but there was a lot of good stuff in there. We get to see Meera outside of the cave. So why is she outside of the cave? Is she just hunting for food, or are they leaving somewhere?
Right, and this is what makes me think that, perhaps he tries to get a hold of Jon somehow through werewood.net. It doesn't work. Maybe Jon, hears something through a tree he's nearby or something, but he doesn't understand. So Bran decides to leave the cave physically to go meet him somewhere and tell him this information. Because otherwise, you got to think, what's Meera and Hodor going to be doing all season? Otherwise, there's really no point to the story for them anymore as far as being Bran's guardians, because he's in there safe with the children of the forest. The cave's warded against the whites. So if he doesn't leave the cave physically, there's no reason for Meera or Hodor to even really be in the story anymore.
So what I've been thinking is that they will probably have to take Leaf with them, because I believe that's the only real protection that they will have against the whites. There were a lot of whites just outside of the cave, right?
Yeah, just so happened to be outside the cave when they went the entire trip, didn't run into a damn thing. They got to the cave door, and there happened to be a shit ton of whites just buried in the snow. So yeah, that would be really cool to take Leaf, and perhaps some other little children of the forest people who are running around in the cave. That would be really cool to see them venture out and meet other men again.
Yeah. And Chris and I talked about this horse a lot, and we came up with a few different ideas.
We talked about this fucking horse a lot. She's obsessed with this horse and its reins.
I was looking for pictures of other horses to see if I could find another horse with the exact same reins and see like, oh, it's this guy's horse. I even thought it could be Patrick's horse, because Patrick was up there and maybe he meets up with Bran. I don't know. Maybe it's the Hound's horse, because he was black and it had the same kind of reins.
As if there's not any more black horses in this world. I mean, the Hound's horse is down this quiet isle. Podrick, I don't think he ever made it further than Winterfell. So yeah, if he is leaving the cave physically, either they have to walk for a while with Hodor's help again, and they find a horse in a village somewhere further south, because you got to assume that they're up so far north there's probably not any villages or anybody left in those villages that'd all be dead in the first place. Or he could use his actual powers and warg a horse and bring it to himself.
Or it's a white horse.
A dead horse.
And it hasn't gone through post-production yet. That's why it doesn't look like a white horse in the picture.
Yes, but it looks very alive to me, and there's too many reins and stuff for it to be a dead horse, I think. But she could be right.
Yeah. Or...
That was an enthusiastic or.
Are you guys ready for this? I don't know if your viewers are ready for this, Chris.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you. What if...
Get ready, people.
It's... Cold Hands. I know. It's too good to be true. I know.
They could do it, though. They could bring Cold Hands in right now. I mean, they're going back and circling back and doing things in the books anyway. Why not?
And yes, they switched the elk for a horse.
Could very well be. I mean, it's probably a little bit cheaper in production. But yeah, this could actually fit, though. Cold Hands helps Bran get south of the wall again, just like in the books, but yet Cold Hands can't pass through the wall.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's wishful thinking. One thing that a lot of you probably haven't thought of is, remember that there will be a White Walker scene that will break the internet? A White Walker scene that will be better than Hardhome? I've been thinking about this White Walker scene, and to me it sounds like it would be the White Walkers getting past the wall. That's the only thing that could be better than Hardhome, right? But it feels like season 6 is too early for this to happen, since we still have 2 more seasons to go. So I think that maybe this White Walker sequence will be them getting past the wall, but it will be a vision of Bran's.
Ah, so a future vision of perhaps the wall comes tumbling down.
Right, and that is exactly why he says
They have no idea what's going to happen.
because he just saw it.
Ah, that's exactly what he saw. That's it. That's got to be it.
Right, and then he sees that, and then maybe that's why he goes out of the cave, because he needs to tell people.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think the wall is coming down. I don't think it's going to be this season physically, but now that you say that...
Oh, actually, I just thought of something else. Maybe instead of the White Walkers getting past the wall, Bran could also be seeing the last long night. You know, the one that ended the Age of Heroes. And we may even learn something new about the White Walkers during this vision. But yeah, sorry, Chris, keep going.
Okay, so going back really quick to the Meera thing, you know, as far as her role and Hodor's role, etc. Question a lot of people have now, will Meera and Bran have some kind of romance starting? I mean, it's going to be kind of weird because I don't know if he knows that if he takes the position of last Greenseer and gets the job, he's going to be stuck in a tree for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and that may create some conflict too. I mean, nothing better than a love story to create conflict. Jon!
Right, and if he wants to leave for whatever reason, again, maybe to go see Jon or whatever he's going to do, will Bloodraven like that?
Oh shit.
He can be like, you can't clock out yet.
So I don't think we'll see Bran doing much more than just the visions in this season. Usually Bran gets a very small part of each season. And I do think we will see him do a lot more things, but that will probably be for season 7 or season 8. We have had a lot of foreshadowing from Jojen especially. The Night's Watch can't stop them. The kings of Westeros or their armies can't stop them. And so he's kind of implying that Bran is the only one that can stop them. So I believe that Bran will play a big role in the last season.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to play a big role in the sense of visions, things that we need to know about to kind of move the story forward. But yeah, as far as the actual war, Battle for the Dawn, whatever you want to call it, that'll definitely come in season 7/8.
And one big reason why I don't think Bran will only be meant to let us see visions and see the past and learn about the past or future is because we have seen him work into Hodor. They're not just gonna do that for nothing. I mean, they're setting us up for something there.
Yeah, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah, and I mean, like Jojen says to Bran, no one has been able to do that before. I mean, we know that he's not all there as a human, but that's still impressive for someone who hadn't even had any training yet. And so I think that that's just some setup for him to be doing something like that on a larger scale later on. I mean, he may not work into a dragon like many of us want him to, but maybe he will be able to work into a person with a fully developed brain, you know? Jon!
Or a White Walker.
Yeah.
Maybe he can just log into Hodor because Hodor is simple. But yeah, you're right. Maybe he can warg a dragon later on, a White Walker or something. Because if he's the key, right, according to Jojen, then it's got to be bigger than just, okay, he's passing around information. And that kind of leads me to the question, if Bloodraven's recruiting him to kind of be his replacement as the last Greenseer, then Bloodraven knows he's going to die really, really soon. Otherwise, he could do it himself.
Good point. And I know it sounds too good to be true that he would warg into a dragon, but come on, how cool would it be if we saw him do that? Like, that would be really awesome. Into a dragon or into a White Walker. Either one of those two, I would love to see.
The dragon theory is awesome to think about, but then again, even if he's that powerful, can a dragon be warged or skin changed into, because they are magical themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the big argument right there. And also you have to be in close contact with the creature to be able to warg into them, or you have to have made a connection with them. But then again, you think of Bloodraven being stuck in that tree, and he can still warg into a lot of things that are outside of the cave, I believe, without him making that connection. So maybe it just depends on the amount of power that you have as a Greenseer.
Right, or perhaps maybe it works like you can warg into something here locally, right? You know, a local wolf or whatever running by. But then the wolf goes off a distance, and maybe you can jump your consciousness or whatever the hell you call it to another animal nearby that animal and keep on going.
So you're saying that maybe it depends on distance too?
Right, maybe it depends on distance, but then like I said, you know, you take this animal a certain distance and get close to another animal, and you can keep kind of the domino effect from there. And maybe that's how he gets that damn horse.
Yes. That freaking horse. Another really cool thing to think about is, you know, when people are talking about the dragons having their own colors and being related to people with those colors and things like Tyrion being related to Viserion because gold and Lannister gold and all that stuff. What if Rhaegal is the dragon that Bran works into because he's green and Bran is a Greenseer? So just another crazy idea that I'm throwing out there. And I mean, I'm sure other people have thought about it already, but...
And one last thing for me that I'm 100% sure is going to happen this season regarding Bran and his storyline and the characters around him is that Hodor will 100% say Hodor.
Okay, I'm out. I'm out. Out of here. So yeah, whatever Bran ends up doing, I know it's going to be a lot bigger than just visions, and I can't wait to see it.
You damn right! It's gonna be fun! Alright guys, that's pretty much what we have for Bran. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward in the sense that he's going to, again, give us a lot of visions, a lot of context for the past, fill in a lot of story holes we've been all waiting on, and hopefully some big reveals we've been waiting on. He's going to have a big season in the sense of information and backstory and stuff like that, but not a lot of action, so to speak, because he is, after all, broken. So anyway, if you're seeing these for the first time, Val and I are doing this series of Game of Thrones Season 6 predictions. And the one we did with this set with Bran is Tyrion, and that'll be on her channel, Because Geek. So Val, thanks again for coming back to Smokescreen today. She's doing my gun thing now. So anyway guys, let us know in the comments what you think. We're going to continue doing these Game of Thrones prediction videos until the season starts in 2 characters at a time, one on my channel, one on Val's channel, and we'll release them at the same time. Check out the ones we did last week on Cersei and Sansa, and you can click here to see Tyrion that we did on Val's channel, Because Geek. So check that out, let us know what you think. So thanks a lot guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you... Hodor.
Yeah, Jon.